Hey everyone, my name is Maris. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing my top 10 reading resolutions for the upcoming year, 2021. I've been doing a lot of just reflecting about this year and how terrible it's been, how things have just gone wrong in almost every facet of life. But my saving grace has been reading in the second half of the year. I got back into reading in September and I'm just so grateful for it. It's like a form of self-care for me, and knowing that I have a book to curl up with at the end of the day, I think it's just something to look forward to, and it's just really great having a hobby that's not tied to my work or school or anything like that. I'm just doing something for myself. I've just been doing a lot of reflecting, and I thought it'd be good to have some goals for the upcoming year to kind of challenge myself a bit more. My top goal is to read 52 books. Bill Gates actually reads around 50 books a year. Mimi told me that. Mimi from Notes from Mimi. And I thought it'd be really fun to kind of mirror that goal. So 52 books a year is one book a week, basically. I think from the pace that I am reading now, I can definitely do that. This past year, I read 25 books in basically like 3-4 months. If I just like duplicate that for like the rest of the year next year, I can definitely hit 52. My second goal is to read more translated works. There are so many authors that I feel like aren't marketed towards an American audience or an English-speaking audience, but like have really amazing books. So I am especially interested and excited to read The Memory Police. It just sounds like the kind of dystopia novel that I like crave and gravitate towards, so I'm really excited to get into that. My third goal is to read at least one chonker per quarter of the year. This is going to be different for everybody, but for me, a long book is 500 pages or more. I'm obviously challenging myself with this goal, but making it realistic by only telling myself I only need to read one per quarter, but hopefully like surpassing that. Off the top of my head, I really want to read 1Q84 by Murakami. It's like probably the longest book that I have because it's like I think 3 books in one. I think Jade City and The Poppy War are both over 500 pages. So for me that's long, so I really want to get through those books next year. My third goal is to read more Filipinx literature or stories centering the Filipinx experience. I am Filipino American. As a lot of you guys know, I was born and raised in the Philippines until I was about 5 years old, and you'd be surprised at how little Filipinx literature I've read. I'm already planning to read Patron Saints of Nothing, My Heart Underwater, and America's Not in the Heart, and those are all going to be really exciting books, and I just want to feel seen in a book. For some reason, I haven't picked up a book that features a Filipinx character, so that needs to change. My fifth goal is to read at least 2 nonfiction books per quarter. My shelf has a good number of nonfiction books. Actually, I just like cataloged all the books that I have, and I have 21 on my shelf. I like basically read nonfiction my entire college career as public policy and journalism majors, so like why don't I gravitate toward those books? Off the top of my head, I really want to get into Know My Name by Chanel Miller, Hood Feminism, and The Color of Law. Like I have so many good books on my shelf that I'm going to pick up next year. My sixth goal is kind of related to my fourth goal, but that is to read at least one book fully in Tagalog. I can fluently understand Tagalog, but in terms of reading it, the extent of my experience reading Tagalog is at church when I would go to Filipino mass with my parents, and yeah, it hasn't been the easiest thing to read or pick up. I think I put this down because I really want to finish Noli Me Tangere this year. It's a classic Filipino literature by Jose Rizal, who's a Filipino hero, and he wrote this book, and like it's taught all across the Philippines. My parents read it when they were younger. They also got me the graphic novel version of it, and I'm pretty sure it's in English. So if I have any if I can't understand a certain chapter, I'm just gonna match it with the graphic novel, and that's that. My seventh goal is to read at least 10 graphic novels. I'm really excited about this one because I think I'm like just a generally very visual person. Like I'm a visual learner. I love seeing things, like movies, etc. And graphic novels are really cool, like in between those like mediums. So I'm gonna read Good Talk by Mira Jacob. I'm also going to read The Best We Could Do by Thi Bui. And that one is a graphic memoir about a Vietnamese family of refugees, and I think that's just going to be very hard-hitting and beautiful, and I've heard amazing things about this book. My 8th goal is to increase my diversity in terms of my reading habits and just the things that I pick up. So I want to read at least one book a month in which the central identity of a main character doesn't match my own, and also I want to read genres and topics that I don't normally gravitate towards. So I definitely heavily gravitate towards fantasy, so I want to explore different genres next year, whether that be like mystery or even like contemporary stuff. I haven't read a lot of contemporary aside from romance. My 9th goal is to get through at least 10 books of my physical TBR each quarter. This is definitely going to like be met because I'm really determined to get through my physical TBR. I made a TBR jar of every single book that I physically own, and even books that are coming in the next week, and I divided them up by genre in terms of the color coding, and that will get me to read books that I actually have. Last year I had a real problem with book buying, and like I don't want to say it's a problem because obviously I had the means to do so, like thankfully, and I had the time to read, and I don't know, like I loved buying books and building my collection. Like my shelf looks nothing like it did when I first started Bookstagram, which is really exciting, but because of that I have accumulated so many books that I need to get through. There's 138 on my physical TBR, and guess what, I've only read 22. That's gonna be my hardest goal, but I need to meet that for sure. My 10th goal is to utilize the library more and actually read what I borrow. So that's at least 10 total, so around one book a month-ish. I could skip a couple months. I've had the problem in the past of either not going to the library at all or only using the library and like checking out a bunch of books and only reading one. So yeah, those are my 10 goals for the upcoming year. Hopefully these were some source of inspiration. Let me know if we have any similar goals or if there's anything that, you know, any suggestions that you have in terms of tweaking my goals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and see you in my next video in the next year. Bye!